Hi, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Risings. Welcome to your November 2022 horoscope. My name is Cailin, and today I'm going to be covering all of the major transits for the month ahead using tropical astrology and the whole sign system. I strongly recommend that you watch this horoscope if you are a Sagittarius rising, Sun, or Moon. Generally speaking, you'll find that the rising sign, which is also known as the ascendant sign horoscope, will be the most accurate for you overall. So if you're only going to watch one horoscope today, I would recommend that you start with the rising sign. So, first of all, I am going to take a look at the Mars retrograde in Gemini transit. But before I get into that, I just want to let you guys know that you should stick around till the end because I will be discussing the best transit for the month for you specifically, and that is the new moon in Sagittarius. It looks very, very positive for you guys. So I'm very excited about that for you Sagittarians. Nevertheless, let's start off by looking at Mars retrograde. So Mars will station retrograde in the sign of Gemini at the end of October on the 30th or the 31st, depending where you live in the world. It will be retrograde for all of November, all of December, and it will be direct once again on the 12th of January. So that's about 10 weeks of Mars retrograde in your 7th house. So the signs who will feel this most naturally will be Geminis, like myself as a Gemini rising, Virgos, also me, a Virgo moon, Pisces, and Sagittarians. So for you guys, Mars retrograde in your 7th house indicates that there is a lot going on in your personal one-to-one relationships. Now, these can be business. These can be business partnerships, business contracts, clients, deals that you're doing, etc. Or this can be your romantic relationship, whether this is your long-term committed partner, your spouse, and even ex-partners as well. Let's say you're co-parenting with a former ex, with a former lover who's now an ex. And on a different level, this can also include your personal one-to-one close friendships. So Mars retrograde here can indicate that there may be obstacles or challenges, or maybe you've set goals within the context of these relationships and now you're re-strategizing. It does not necessarily mean that you're arguing with your partner, whether this is your spouse or your business partner or what have you. It can just mean that it's time to really reassess your goals being Mars, and the reassess component coming through with the retrograde. So on a business front, this can see you culling your clientele list. Maybe you don't want to do business with certain people anymore and you're working on, getting out of that contract. Mars being retrograde in the 7th house can see you really fighting for your own desires within that contractual relationship. So for some of you, you could be going through a renewal process for your work or with a business partner or with a client, but maybe you are being very, very firm about what it is that you want to see take place in this partnership or in your understanding with this other person. On a different level, if you own your own business, as indicated by Mars ruling over your 5th house, this can see you changing up the services that you offer. So maybe let's just say you're an astrologer like myself, and you offer birth charts, solar return readings, forecasts, and a bunch of other services. Maybe you're realizing that it's actually going to be more cost effective or a better use of your time and your energy, which is Mars, for you to actually trim down how many services you are offering. Okay, so you can see how Mars retrograde is about you cutting away things that no longer serve you, re-strategizing, which is a function of Mars, and really course correcting on your goals and your objectives, especially within the context of these personal relationships or with these business relationships. Now, if you are in a business partnership, it has to be said that you could very well be butting heads during this period of time. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are trying to, break away from that partnership, although it could lead to that. Maybe you are just trying to assert your will within, the responsibilities that you share. Now, on a different level, you could be bringing back old clients from the past and doing business with them once more, or you could have been in business with someone previously and now you are pursuing them and you're trying to, get them on board, or vice versa. So you could be trying to rebuild something that was existing in the past. With respect to your romantic relationship, this can see you trying to work out issues with your significant other, and this could be in a very assertive way. It's 11 right now as I'm filming this, so for those of you who are in a relationship and you feel like it's struggling, this is make or break time. I don't want to make any bones about that. So on one hand, you may come out the other side and be like, you know what, I gave it this 10-week period. I waited till January or even February, to see how things are going to pan out. My partner didn't step up to the plate. The changes that I wanted to see take place didn't happen. So, it's time to call it quits. On the other side of the coin, maybe you will be coming out of some kind of rut with your partner. Okay, maybe you have re-injected the passion into that relationship, especially because Mars is a planet which is connected to passion, sex, and it rules over your fifth house, which is your romantic relationship. So for some of you, you could have been working on taking it to an exclusive level with someone that you've been dating, and you could very well be successful in that by the time we get out of the retrograde. And for some of you, you can actually be getting back together with an ex. So Mars retrograde in the seventh house does not always lead to, breakups with friends or partners or business, relationships. It can be quite the opposite, where you're, fighting for that relationship and fighting to make it work. So on a different level, the seventh house is connected to services. Okay, so maybe with Mars being a planet which is connected to sport, and with it ruling over the fifth house, which is also connected to sport and athleticism, you could be working really hard with a trainer. In fact, this would be an amazing time for you to work with a personal trainer, because you will be able to achieve a transformation by engaging the services of another person. Now, you don't have to pay someone to do it. Maybe you're going to be working really hard with a friend, or maybe even a coworker. Maybe you're going to the gym, during lunch hours or before or after work. And Mars rules over muscles. So, this could be a very fruitful time for you if you're putting in a lot of extra effort and energy into achieving your objectives. And look, it doesn't just need to be with a personal trainer or in an athletic sense. Mars rules over your 12th house, which is connected to spirituality and divinity. So you could be working with a yoga instructor. You could be engaging the services of an astrologer or a tarot reader to work through some of your issues that are connected to maintaining relationships. Or maybe you are seeing a psychologist, but with the energy of Mars, this is someone who's very inspiring and proactive, and who doesn't take any crap. So this is not, working with someone who's got a soft approach or a soft touch. It's someone who's a bit more, Martian or martial in energy. So now let's have a look at the energy of the full moon eclipse in Taurus. So there will be a total lunar eclipse in Taurus in your sixth house, and this will be on the 8th of November, and it will be at 15 degrees and 59 minutes. So we are very much in eclipse season already. The first eclipse will actually be 4 days from now on the 25th of October. So that'll be a new moon eclipse in Scorpio. So the reason why I'm mentioning being in eclipse energy is because emotions can be heightened, they can be all over the place. Our energy levels can be up and down. If I had to say, probably down, to be fair. So you could just feel quite depleted in terms of your energy or a bit fatigued. It could be more difficult for you to fall asleep or stay asleep. So, unfortunately, disturbed sleep patterns are part and parcel for eclipse energy. Now, on a different level, um, eclipses can be an exciting period of time, because we can really sense that there is a lot of change in the air, that there is something afoot, that the ground beneath us is shifting in terms of your openness to experience. That can determine your comfortability with that. Fortunately for Sagittarians, you guys like adventure, you seek out change. So I actually think Sagittarians handle eclipse energy a little bit better than fixed signs, such as, myself as a Taurus. This eclipse is happening for me in my sign. Nevertheless, in the sixth house, this is all about work, your duties, your responsibilities. It is also connected to health and conflictual situations and conflictual I should say anything that feels out of balance. Okay, so you can be already aware of what eclipse event is coming through, and by that I mean eclipses usually have some kind of catalyst that comes through with the eclipse. So it's like a dramatic event, getting news of a situation, discovering a secret, or a major life event happening. So eclipses can indicate people falling pregnant, giving birth, getting into relationships, out of relationships, leaving jobs, starting new jobs, etc. As Sagittarians, this is really occurring on a work level. If you are not working, don't worry, I'm going to talk about other ways that this can play out for you. So, on the work front, you could be leaving a job, changing departments. A project could be coming to an end. One of your employees could be resigning, or they could be moving on to a different team. And someone that you hired, and this could be anything, someone that you've hired to clean your house, do landscaping for your property, etc. That contractual relationship could be coming to a close. Maybe they're calling it quits. Maybe they've just finished the job, or perhaps you're having to let them go because they're not meeting your standards. So full moon eclipses are, generally speaking, about an ending or a chapter reaching a close, or a situation reaching its peak. So because this full moon eclipse is with the North Node, you're getting something out of this situation. Okay, it's not just like a slam book shut moment, that's it. It's like there'll be a trade-off. Now, this lunar eclipse does have a little bit of drama attached to it, and that is because it is conjunct the sign of Uranus. Now, having said all that, this eclipse will also be opposite Venus and Mercury, which will be conjunct the sun in Scorpio. So for many of you, you could be leaving one job to take on a new job, finishing up one project, and now you're receiving some kind of recognition for your efforts. Maybe this is at a peer level. It could be that something that you're doing in the workplace that you don't even enjoy comes to a close. Maybe your boss is like, hey, I'm moving you onto a new project, cancel what you're doing, or hand it off to the next person. On a different note, this can see tenants moving out, potentially breaking lease. You could be the one who is breaking lease, and this could be because you found a better living opportunity, a better property, or maybe you had committed to purchasing a property, but now you're wanting to back out of that situation. On a different note, and again, this is now not connected to work, with your duties and responsibilities, and I mean like the daily stuff that you carry out, paying the bills, doing favors for other people, being service, maybe, helping out family or whatever, these can start coming to an end, especially if this is something that has been very taxing or draining for you. Now, just, referring to the conjunction to Uranus, it's likely that something reaches a head or a critical point where you're like, I can't keep doing this. I'm actually at breaking point. I don't want to do this anymore. I actually need to find a way to get out of this situation because it's very unhelpful for me. It's very draining. Now, this eclipse is squaring Saturn. So Saturn is forming a T square, which means it squares the moon and it squares the sun. So in this instance, it's like there's a burden or some kind of pressure, external pressure that is on you. And the square to Uranus is like, nope, I'm not doing this. I'm rebelling against this burden. I don't want to carry it out anymore. So this can see you kind of being forced because of Saturn to realize that you just can't go on, in terms of carrying on with this level of responsibility. So this may at first come through as some kind of dramatic event happening, or you just having an epiphany, but it could come through while you're feeling frustrated. But then the benefit is you're letting go of this. And the good news with this eclipse is that it is trining Jupiter. Okay, Jupiter will be in Pisces, which is your ruling planet. It's trining, not the eclipse, sorry, it's trining the Sun, Mercury, and Venus. So Jupiter being your ruling planet and receiving this support from the Sun, Mercury, and Venus indicates to me that there's a way out. You don't have to do this anymore. Even if you're having to disappoint someone, in the long run, this is going to benefit you. And the same can be said for a job that's coming to a close, or you moving on from a project, or an employee resigning, or you letting go of someone. There's going to be a point of friction, but then ease. Okay, the relief will start to settle in. You can do this, like you can carry it out, even if it's not necessarily smoothly done. Now, with the sixth house being connected to health, this can indicate that you can actually resolve an issue. Okay, a health ailment can reach a conclusion, or you can discover the solution. You can, have some kind of epiphany or receive an insight about what would be required for you to resolve a health problem. Now, first, there may be some kind of, what's the word? It's not necessarily a crisis. It's just like you get to a point where you're like, hey, something needs to be done about this. And for some of you, this could be the breaking of a bad habit. This could be overcoming an addiction. This could be realizing that any kind of health or a specific health issue that you are experiencing has a cause, and now you're aware of it and you actually know what habits and routines you need to put into place to, start feeling like you're more in balance. Okay, so this eclipse, I should say, is all about awareness of a situation which is causing you grief. I just want to make this very clear, okay? The eclipse is not the cause of a conflictual situation. It is not the cause of something going wrong. It's not the cause of anxiety or tension. The eclipse is the awareness of why you are experiencing this. And the eclipse can bring through the solution as a result of being aware. Okay, so, I just wanted to make that abundantly clear. So now let's have a look at Venus entering Sagittarius. And thank you everyone in the chat. It's really nice to have your support. And yes, I'm feeling very well rested after my 3-week trip to Greece. So on the 16th of November, Venus will enter the sign of Sagittarius, which means it will be transiting your first house. Yay. We love when Venus transits our first house, when it transits our sign on a physical level. Okay, physicality, physical appearance, etc. You can feel more attractive, more beautiful. You could be investing money into your appearance. Okay, this could be enhancing your appearance, trying a new aesthetic, whether this is getting your hair done, colored, cut, different type of facial hair that you might be trying out. For some of you, you could be trying on new clothing, investing in your wardrobe, or cracking out certain pieces in your wardrobe that you love. Maybe you're finding that it works with your image once again, and you're happy that you can wear your favorite garment. On a different note, you could be trying different things with your makeup, or maybe you're just trying makeup or skincare and you're finding that it's really working for you. Maybe you are trying out new fragrances. And I'm saying this because Venus rules over the five senses and Venusian things. Venus rules over hair, makeup, clothing, skincare, fragrances, as well as food. Okay, so you could be indulging in yourself, which is all Venus kind of stuff. And, in terms of your physicality, you could be feeling more balanced physically, emotionally, and so on and so forth. So it's interesting how this is occurring, pretty soon after the eclipse. So just know that if the eclipse has you feeling pretty wonky, don't worry. Venus entering Sagittarius is going to make you feel better. And then the sun is going to enter Sagittarius around the 22nd or the 23rd of November. And that's going to be even better than just having Venus in your first house. Also, generally speaking, as a rule of thumb, when the sun is in the sign that precedes our sun sign, okay, this is for Sagittarius sun specifically, we can feel a lowered sense of vitality. If you're not a Sagittarius sun, then go look at the season that occurs before your sun sign. So, in terms of your persona, this can see you coming across more charming, more graceful, more gracious, and more diplomatic. So you may just feel like like you have a bit more patience, actually, and that you are coming off in a way which is attractive to other people. So people could be coming up to you, people could be complimenting you during this period of time, which, by the way, is the 16th of November till the 10th of December. That's how long Venus will be in Sagittarius. So on the 19th of November, Mars will square Neptune. So Mars will be retrograde in Gemini in your seventh house, and it will square Neptune in Pisces in your 10th house at 22 degrees. I said 10th house, I meant 4th house. Mars in the 7th house, Neptune in the 4th house. Okay, so just to recap, the 7th house is it's your personal relationships, as I mentioned, business partnerships, your spouse, your significant other, close friends, and so on and so forth. Now, the 4th house is all about your family life, your home life, your property, and your living circumstances. Is this a good aspect? No. However, that doesn't mean that we need to be fearful of any aspect ever. Okay, there's always going to be redeeming qualities or ways to harness the energy of that transit and make it not necessarily our friend, but make it work for us, okay? Make it go a bit more smoothly. So, Mars square Neptune will occur 3 times. It already happened once on the 12th of October. As a Sagittarius, cast your mind back. I know, as a rule of thumb, Sagittarians do not like to look back. I am married to a Sagittarius, Sun, Mercury, Venus, Uranus, Neptune, midheaven. I know how you guys operate. However, look back, 8, 9 days ago. How did you feel then? Okay, you may feel similarly around the 19th of November and again on the 14th of March. This can see you walking away from a battle of wills with respect to a family conflict. Okay, Mars is conflictual energy. Mars retrograde is very frustrated and agitated and irritated, and the square to Neptune is let it go. Okay, because you are not going to be able to convey yourself in the way that you want to. Of course, this is a general reading, do whatever you like. And it's going to affect everyone differently. Nevertheless, this can see you letting go of certain responsibilities towards family. Some of you may feel confused, which is Neptune, about what action to take when it comes to a family matter. If you are confused, okay, if this applies to you and you don't know what to do and you have a bit of time on your side, don't do anything. You don't have to act now. Okay, take that time if you're confused or if you feel down in the dumps and upset about the situation, and just reassess, regroup, and so on and so forth. On a property level, you may be unsure of what action to take here. Do you break lease? Do you buy? Do you sell? Who do you want to live with? I want to get a flatmate. Who should I get in? If there is no pressing sense of urgency, don't act, okay? Just general advice, all right? On a different note, your efforts to secure a property, all right, whether this is a rental or buying or even accommodation, this could even be like an Airbnb for traveling. Your efforts here could be up in the air. There could be some confusion. There could even be a bit of he said, she said, they said about what was agreed upon with the contract. Okay, so get everything in writing, and also check it. Check any contracts, whether you've received it or you're palming it off to someone else. Now, on a physical level, be mindful of potential water damage to your property. Now, if you're wondering how you can avoid it, well, I'm just going to give you some Virgo advice here. Love from my Virgo moon. Do not leave the dishwasher on or the washing machine on when you're not at home. Okay, I'm not saying you always should do that or whatever, but especially on this day, leaky dishwasher, leaky washing machine, that is a potential, even a few days before and a few days after the 19th of November. And the same can be said for securing your property. Okay, don't want to freak anyone out. I always find it's like impossible to freak Sagittarians out anyway, which is kind of cool. Just triple check locks, doors being closed properly, windows being secured. And that's literally just for the 19th of November, plus or minus a few days. Lastly, you may feel confused about your family unit. Do you stay with your partner? What level of involvement do you want your ex-partner to have with the children? Maybe there's some discord here about child support or caregiving needs, what action to take. Today's not the day, or this day is not the day to reach a compromise unless you are the one sacrificing. You are the one making the compromise. You're not going to get it out of the other person. This is not the day for you to initiate a conversation where you want to get your way. If you want to give it up to the other person, go for it. That's a lovely way to harness the energy of this transit. So, harnessing the energy for good. Close out an argument with a family member. Call a truce on a conflict. You would be the initiator in this instance. You may want to, you may feel inclined to act. So, Mars, take action on information that really angers you, that's actually not accurate. Okay, so this is actually the silver lining here. If you hear about something that's really upsetting to you on this day, it could be untrue, it could be false. And that's because Mars retrograde in Gemini is to, take action without thinking, square to Neptune on information that is clouded, that is, it's smokes and mirrors. Just because there's smoke doesn't mean there's a fire. It could be smokes and mirrors in this situation. So now let's end on a high. Okay. On the 23rd or the 24th of November, depending where you live in the world, there will be a new moon in Sagittarius in your first house at 1 degrees. What's so good about this new moon? Well, it's conjunct Mercury and Venus, okay? More importantly, Venus. And just a few minutes after the new moon, your ruling planet, which is Jupiter, will station direct in Pisces. We want to see planets direct, okay, especially when it's our chart ruler. So just on a personal level, this can see you feeling like you've got your motivation back, your mojo back. Action that you've been trying to take can move forward, especially if this is connected to family matters and property matters, or even just your own sense of security when it comes to your emotional foundation. That's thanks to Jupiter being direct. As for the new moon, new you, new goals, new direction in life. Maybe you want to change your physical appearance. Some of you could be getting into a relationship because this new moon is conjunct Mercury, which rules over your seventh house of relationships, and it's conjunct Venus. And Venus also rules over relationships. So this could see you setting new health habits, okay, with Venus ruling over your sixth house, a new routine, new habits that benefit you. You could be feeling more rejuvenated, more inspired, more motivated. Okay, you could be setting a new goal for yourself, and this could definitely benefit you with respect to your work. And I'm saying this because Venus rules over your sixth house, which is connected to your work. It rules over your 11th house, which is connected to your wider network and your friends. And it is also, and we've also got this new moon conjunct Mercury, and Mercury rules over your seventh house of contracts and your 10th house, which is your career and your professional life. So a new career opportunity could be coming through. You could make someone's acquaintance who could be very beneficial to you in your workplace. And, this could indicate you maybe even starting a new friendship as well. So this is an exciting time. Again, the new moon's on the 23rd or the 24th of November. And with this new moon energy, it's plus or minus a couple of weeks. Okay. Thanks, Sagittarius, for watching this horoscope. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content on here. And just so you know, I'm still working on my 2023 yearly horoscopes. These will be available for purchase by the time I am putting out my December horoscopes. So have an amazing month, have an amazing season. See you guys in December.